Good morning, Marty. Marty is in the house. Momodu's in the house. Mr. Pollock's in the house. O.M. Kelly from Canada is in the house. And let's see who else is here. We have Birth is here. Abdul is here. Adai is here. Adarino Khan is here. Ansel's here. Augustine's here. Bahagwa is here. Chu's here. Dave Cooper's here. Deepak is here. Gupala is here. Hashina. Wow, you guys are making it hard on me today with these names. Ooh. Inaiolawa is here. Ivana's here. Avon's here. Kiva's here. MD Borkek is here. Medan Kaya is here. Mr. Sanye Patra's here. Mr. Bajoy is here. Mr. Manic is here. Mr. Sabarato is here. Mr. Agram is here. Mr. Madhouse is here. Miss Mithu is here. Miss Rena is here. Miss Soma is here. Let's see who else. It's good to be here today. Nagru is here. Ofad is here. OJPS is here. Let's see who else we got. Patience is here. Yay, we got Patience in the house. Rose is here. Roy McPhail's here. Sayan's here. Sishu's here. All right, let's go down and grab a few more here. Samsawar is here. Sudha San is here. And Vihik is here. Now let's go back and put some more in the, if you want on the panel, put your hand up. I think Marty's bringing you on because I see a lot of you going on. Let's see who else we got. Samuto is here. Ushran is here. All right. Good to have you guys here today. It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a real good day. We're going to be talking about churches and temples and mosques and all kinds of stuff. Anything related to anything like churches type thing today is what we're going to be talking about. And it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a real good one. I know it is. I'm excited about it because there's so much that it can do for churches and that type of thing. So temples and I'm excited about it. So let's see. Let's go back and see who else is here. I can't hear anybody. I don't know. Is anybody else? Can someone say something so I know that it's working? Marty, can you say something? Hello, Marty. I'm not hearing nobody.
No, yes, it's working.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Mr. Milo.
Hey, how you doing?
Momodu.
Momodu, how you doing? I see you there. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know that it's working. I wanted to make sure that people were hearing me.
Yeah, it works.
We got Listra in the house. Come on down, Listra. All right, let's see. Well, who else we got? 817-872-99982 is in the house. Abdul, let's see. Art Mudd is in the house. Bill Must, Mr. Bill Must is in the house. Our good friend from, I think he's from London, that does all the pictures and videos and all kinds of stuff. Does so much for the company. Bahutso is in the house. Botamello, Ruth, I should have just said Ruth's in the house. It would have been easier. Emily's Fire is in the house. Gopala's in the house. Mayra is in the house. Lily Lane is here. I'm trying to find the ones I haven't said yet. Mannix in the house. Mr. Arup is in the house. Mr. Alam is in the house. Mr. Rabinda is in the house. I'm hearing some noises there. It's coming from, who is that coming from? Augustine, let me mute him. There we go. Got rid of the noise. All right, Miss Rhina, hey, how you doing, Lynn? Are you made a host? Let's see.
Not yet.
Okay, well, we're gonna make you co-host so you can start bringing on people, and I don't have to do that.
I think only Marty can.
Oh, okay.
We'll have to wait for him.
All right. Let's see. I think I can reconnect.
Now you can. You're the host.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, all right, let's see. Let me get you over to that again, and I will make you the co-host. Make a co-host. There you go. All right. So now you can start bringing them on.
All right. And this is going to be, it's live streamed, right?
Yes, it is.
It looks like he's recording it right now.
Yeah, he is. It's being live streamed, and also I'm recording it on my computer. So we're all set.
I will go ahead and post the ground rules for the live streaming.
Okay.
In the chat.
Perfect. I don't even know what they are, but whatever they are, you know. So all right, let's go and let me go back and call off some more names. Abu is in the house. Augustine, Listra, Marty DeGarmo, Mamudu, Mr. Pollack, Mertlin, O'Kelly, O'Marie is in the house. Sumtra, and Mr. Marshmallow William DeLong is in the house. Good to see you, William. Kiba's in the house. Lily Lane, Maya, Metten, Sancha, let's see, Mr. Bemamali, Mr. Rupan, Mr. Sandip. I need to make up nicknames for you guys so I can say your names. Mr. Shroven, Mr. Tarak, Mr. Hey, Ram. Hey, Julie, you're here. You can go now. Yeah, I'll let you start calling these names. There's some real good ones here today.
Good morning, Milo. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
You're doing a fantastic job, Milo.
Oh my God, I probably butchered a bunch of them names, but I was trying my best, you know.
You did great. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Hello, Lynn. Thanks for helping us always. Thanks so much. Hello, Vivitek Tribathi. Hello, Uche Kechuku. Stanley. Good to have you here. CB. Good to have you here. Teresa, Syed, Stefan, Sophia. I'm just going to read the first name. Samwa Pauti, Samwa Sishu, good to have you here. Sammy, Roy McPhail, Rose, good to have you here. Peter Chin, Pat Rose, Patricia, Patience, good to have you here. Pastor Emma, Onas Joseph, good to have you here. Larita Harris, JPS, good to have you here. Fuad, good to have you here. Ola Tushin, good to have you here. Cindy Hopkins, good to see you here as well. Everyone, if you like to be on the panel, please do raise your hands. We appreciate you joining us today. Nagul, good to have you here. Mrs. Rina, Mrs. Rabidra, Mrs. Mahood, Mrs. Ajay, Mr. Ajay. Wow, it's jumping. Let's see. Mr. Tarag, Mr. Shaban, Good to have you here. Mr. Madhu, good to have you here. Mr. Tarag, Mr. Shoban, Mr. Sandip, Mr. Rupan, Mr. Pala, Mr. Subrata, Mr. Rabidra. Good to have everyone here today. If you'd like to be on the panel, please raise your hands. We're gonna have a really good discussion today. Tu Vang, good to have you here. David, good to have you here. Karen, Kiba, good to have you here. Lily Lane, Marilyn, Mary, Myra, MD Kasim. We're gonna just go ahead and keep going and reading. We're about 5 minutes to get our show started. Mr. Allen, good to have you here. Welcome all of our viewers in our YouTube channels. We got YouTube channels running right now, live streaming from OnPassive to OnPassive Nation, Marty DeGamo, Red Fern, Bill Musk, the Julie and Milo Show as well. And I'm sure there's other channels, but if you are watching this right now, we asked if you could subscribe to the channel so that everything that we are doing from OnPassive will be live streamed. You know, everything that we can, we're gonna live stream it out. And once you subscribe to the channel, even if you don't have the Zoom link on that day, you still can join us as well. Once you click the subscriber, please click the bell so that you can get notification on that as well. Would love for you to join us today. Please raise your hands. I think this topic that we are talking about today, it's going to help everyone because everyone is doing something with churches, charities, synagogue, mosques, everything, right? Missionaries. There's so many things that we can cover today, right, Milo?
Oh man, so much, Julie. And being a preacher's kid, and growing up in it my whole life, I'm very familiar with everything that this will do for us. And I mean, you take food banks, you take missions, you take building funds, anything you want with churches, and this has something for them. I feel this is gonna help every church, and when I say church, I mean churches, temples, synagogues, all that, whatever your church type thing is.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think this topic today, I believe that I will learn so much, not only the terms for each religions or churches, and I'm struggling with that too. So I think we're going to be learning so much today from everyone that's joining us today. So if you are a pastor, if you are the minister, if you are running some program, if you are rabbis, are any of one of those, we ask if you can wear that hat today, right? Even if you are founders of OnPassive, I'd like you to wear the hat today and then bring on some of that topic, bring on something that you're struggling with, right? Financial, bring on stuff that you want to do, bring on things that that's so passionate to your heart that you are here, that drive you here when we said we were going to do this topics today. So if you're joining us now, we have about 2 minutes to get the show started, but we would like you to be on the panel just so that you can ask questions, right? Not only that you're listening to just hear the information here, but I think it's really important that you could bring out some of the topic that we may be missing, right? In what you are doing, like in the ministry, the people that doing missionaries, right? So I think this is something that we all could benefit from together, right? Not only that we want to tell you how OnPassive can help you with certain things that you are doing, but at the same time, you could give us some information where we can take those information and matches with what we are doing in OnPassive so that we can help you as well. So would love for you to raise your hands and be on the panel with us.
Absolutely, Julie. Let's make this is going to be kind of like a mastermind when we all get together and we come together and we know, hey, we've got a problem with this or we got a problem with that. Hey, let's come together. Let's find out. Let's get solutions, because I guarantee you they're in OnPassive. There is something that will help anything that you're doing. And we would love to hear that, we'd love to have you bring up questions. so that we can explain how this will help.
Absolutely. And I love what you're saying. It's mastermind session. It's not that we know it all. It's not that everyone here know it all. We all in here to help and learn with each other. So before we get started, there is a live stream rules that Lynn had put it in the chat for us. We are live streaming this webinar on multiple YouTube channel. The ground rules are, if you raise your hand and you wish to speak, please wait to get called out. Then you could unmute yourself. Once after you speak, please mute yourself. If you want your video on, please make sure that you are in decent dressed and sit up properly. Don't take your device in the restroom. Please give some more positive, right? When you're on the camera, it's really nice to present yourself in a proper way and professional way as well. Please speak positively about the company. Public will be watching the live stream so that we could be appropriate and also speaking positive. When you are speaking, try to keep your questions and comment in a few minutes length so that others can have a chance to talk as well. We appreciate that you're joining us here today, and all our guests, all our friends of the Julie and Milo Show, founders and guests from everywhere around the world. We're going to have this show started really shortly. One more thing is that please, this is not a Q&A session. It's not a question and answer about support or anything like that. The topic today, we are talking about how do OnPassive products can help with churches, synagogues, and anything that related to, worship, right? Anything that has to do with charities and church and missions. So the questions today I asked if you could ask in regarding around that topic instead of other topic as well. We do love for you to be on the panel, so please continue to raise your hand if you're joining us. We'll bring you on. All right, Milo, I'm sending it back to you.
All right. Thank you, Julia. Hey, sorry I was not able to get the inspiration out today. I had computer problems last night, but I'll get that out later today. But let's go ahead and get started. Here we go. Julie and Milo show is here today. You don't want to miss a single word they say. Bringing you founders from a near and far. Listen as they tell you now just who they are. Listen to the story and how they tell. Just 3 minutes how they're doing well. Telling us what it's all about today. And how I love in that OnPassive. It's here today, OnPassive. It's just no better way. Listen to the Julie and the Milo show. So then you can be the very first to know. OnPassive is here today. Julie and Milo show is coming your way Saturday. OnPassive. Oh yeah. Julie, take it away.
Thank you, Milo. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Julie and Milo Show Saturday show. Today is February 19, 2020. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. It is a great day today. My name is Julie. I'm coming to you from Orange County, California. My dear friend, Milo. Milo, if you would please say hello to everyone.
Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Milo from Nashville, and remember, we would not have a show if you was not here. So thank you for coming, and we're going to have a great time today, Julie. Go ahead.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is so correct, Milo. We cannot have the Julie and Milo show without all our friends, our guests here around the world. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we are talking about how do OnPassive products make a big impact or helping people like churches, pastors, missionaries, mosques, synagogue, everything. Everything has to do with worship, right? Everything has to do with helping other people, in those arenas. So we would love for you to join us today in a discussion about how do OnPassive products can help in those arenas as well. So how we are going to do today is will be the moderator today. Milo and I are going to start the conversation first, And then once we see hand raised, we're gonna call on you, and then you would be bringing some topic up, right? We do hope that if you are pastors, missionaries, anyone's like that, I'd like you to wear that hat today, right? Bring up some of the struggles, some of the challenges that you have, some of the things that you want to do, but you don't have the fun or the tools to do it, right? So would love for you to bring up some of those topics, and then we're all going to have that discussion today. It's really a mastermind session, just so that we all can go back and say, oh, you know what? I didn't think about this, right? A lot of the shows that you and I did, Milo, that we got a lot of people feedback saying, oh, you know, it's really good that you brought that point up. So this is it. This is here. This show right here is where we're going to bring up some points, right? So I'm going to send it back to Milo, say what he needs to say, and then we're going to start, you know, with questions and stuff like that.
Absolutely, Julie. There's so many topics that we can cover on this. And, you know, growing up in a minister's home, so I've been around this stuff my whole life, you know, 65 years, and I've been in the minister's home. I've been the church treasurer. I've been the deacon. I've been the church brat. I've been everything as far as churches, you know, but so I feel very knowledgeable in this area, and I want to help as many people as I can. And so, I mean, I would like to right away start with the question. So I would love to have, if there's preachers or pastors on the panel, you know, raise your hand. Let's bring them. Let's try to pin them to the top so they can ask their questions, you know, and we can help them out, because this is a big thing. OnPassive is going to be so big, I feel, for churches and charities and temples and synagogues and all that kind of things. You know, anything that's a charitable organization, OnPassive has it covered. I promise you, there is a way. And so I would love to have someone raise their hand and ask questions, even right now, you know, and so we can get started. I got tons of things I can run down the list, but I don't really want to do that till someone talks about something and we can discuss it. But we can go the other way. So if anyone's got any questions, please raise your hands.
All right, Milo, I'm going to start.
Okay.
Let's start with the administration for, let's pick out church or synagogue. We're just going to use the word church today, okay? When we use the word church, it would represent everything that we're trying to cover today. So let's talk about the administration organization and on these. How do you see, or what are some of the product that you see that could actually help with the admin's office?
Okay, so with the admin office, I can see old staff helping, because as a church, you could put the people in as a employee or whatever, and keep track of all their birthdays, their anniversaries, all that stuff, which is important to people. You know, people love when you can acknowledge things like that. Even, you know, when were they baptized? When did they first start coming to church? You have all of that. The minister or the administration would have all of that information there. They would also have, what about their children? They would have their children have their children's names. So you begin to know them all much better. You know, as far as the treasury, let's go into the treasury. What about the treasury? Well, you got accounting that's there. That's almost like a accounting system, you know, that would track all your money and stuff, tell you where it goes. And, you know, at the end of the year, I always had to give an account for everything. And I'll never forget the first time that I did it. And our church was pretty big. I mean, we had about 600 in it or whatever. And I remember getting up to give my my thing, and I thought I'd nailed it all out pretty good, but I had I forget, $800 or something in. I called it a miscellaneous fund, which was pencils and paper and stuff like that. And I said $800 in miscellaneous. I remember a lady saying, "Is there any way we can break that miscellaneous down?" And I'm like, yeah, I guess, you know, but it was hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the $800 to her meant something, which I understand that. But so after that, I always broke everything down. Now, accounting is going to be able to do that. You'll be able to tell them what everything is for. That's a big thing in churches, that they do need to know, hey, where is our money going? What, we're putting this money in, and whether we're putting it in for missions or we're putting it in for food banks or whatever, it tracks all of that. So that's another big thing about it as far as administration. And I think as far as administration, those two would probably be the big ones that would cover most of the stuff as far as what administration is going to do.
Let's talk about particular department. I know that there's liturgy department on each churches has, a group of people that organizing liturgy every day, every week, right? Music department, right? What type of product do you see that they can actually use to organize those? I would call them a committee. I would call them department. So what do you see in music, department, liturgy? There's ushers. There are different small departments on there. Please talk about it.
That's a good question, Julie. Number one, staff would, you could go through that. You could have a music department, an ushering department, these different food bank, you could have people that are in missions, whatever that is. You could break them out into groups, whether it's staff, but remember, because everything's integrated, this is the beauty of this system. If you put them in staff, all of a sudden you want to send something out to the music department, you never forget anyone because it's in a group, and automatically send an email out once, say, hey, we'd like to meet with the music department today at 3:00. Guess what? Everybody on the music department is going to get that email, because when they come in or you put them into the music department, they're in there, they're in a group email. So it's just a matter of clicking a button. And so OMail would also be part of that, but I mean, you could probably run it, I would think, through staff.
For sure.
And that would be for any department, whether you're in music, you're in whatever department you're in.
Right. I would love to have anyone here, founders, if you'd like to add more to what Milo and I are talking. We'll love to see your hands raised. Now let's focus on, how do I, as a church minister, how do I share my program or my, let's say that I organize a retreat every month, right? Or every year, or during the season. How do I get words out to other people? Not only in my parish, but how about to other people? Share about the faith. Talk about that, Milo.
Absolutely. And here again, Julie, it would all revolve around, whether you use staff or you use OMail, either one of those will work, because you have a group of people that you just send it to, and say you're doing a retreat and you want to invite people. Well, you make up that email, kind of like we do with OnPassive now, where we go in and we send a message out to everyone on our team through the broadcast. You could basically do that through OMail type thing, is OMail or staff. You send it out to all your people, and then remember, all they got to do is just copy it in, and they could send it to whoever they want to. And that way, even inviting people to a church, say a revival or a special meeting or something like that, you send it out to all your people, and your people then send it out to everyone that they want to, and this, I see this as being a great thing for like singing. Say you have a singing group come into your church. Okay. A lot of times, how many times do you hear, well, the Isaacs were here, and all of a sudden you're like, the Isaacs were there? I would have come if I would have knew, but you didn't know because it was hard to, get on the phone and call everybody But if you got a list of people that you could send out to, all of a sudden, you're going to be able to fill up churches for groups, singing groups, and any kind of special meetings that you have, because you can send it out to maybe other churches that don't have church at night, and they can come, and I just see it as helping promote the word.
Absolutely. let's talk about some of the school or some of the churches has school connected to it. This is the topic that I think we want to talk about, religious education, right? I mean, I see that we have all kinds of tools in OnPassive for us to be able to help with education. Let's talk about how OnPassive products can help in that field.
Absolutely. And in today's age, daycare is a big deal. So you start with a daycare, and used to be the mother stayed home with the children, but now it takes two incomes, man. And and you want to be able to send your children someplace where is good, that they're going to be protected. And so a lot of churches have started providing daycare, as a beginning of school or whatever. And so they offer daycare. Now remember, here you go again. How is OnPassive going to help that? Well, as a daycare, you're offering care for children. And remember, you don't have to advertise now. So if you have a church, you have a daycare, which is basically Sunday school department or whatever, and you have a daycare, all of a sudden you can bring these people in, you can provide a service that is great service, but you get paid for it, And remember, OnPassive will target the traffic. So in other words, who are they going to send that advertisement to, or who are they going to put that information in front of? They're going to put it in front of younger people that have children, that, maybe 2-3-year-olds, and it's going to target those people. Hey, do you know we've got a daycare? We offer this, we offer that, we offer, taking care of your children, and maybe if you're running a bus service, we pick them up, All of that stuff is important, and it's something that you can do. So back to you, Julie.
Okay, all right. I was not sure if you're finished your thought on there. Yes. Well, one of the thing about churches that, there's reports, because churches has to really go up bigger into diocese, right? So every single month or year, they have to do some sort of reporting, right? So what would be something that churches use? Accounting, all kinds of like budgeting, and do some reporting of what's going on in the parish, right? So I can only speak for churches where I go, right? The experience that I have where I go, but I don't know much about, like, for example, if you're a monk, you're running the temples, right? Or you're, so Marlo, if you want to talk a little bit about the reporting, what products that would work with it?
Sure. Accounting, I think, would be the big one. Accounting, like I was saying before, as a treasurer, I can see accounting being a great thing that I could have used, because I'm entering, number one, I'm entering what did they pay for, what did they give for tithes, what about their offerings, what about missions, what about food bank, what about this, what about that? All of that stuff is all tax deductible to the person. So that keeps track of all of that. So at the end of the year, you always have to give out a receipt or whatever on how much you donated to the church, whether it was food, whether it was whatever it is, if it's clothes that you gave to them or whatever, you get to write that off on your taxes. I believe it's still that way. I'm not 100% sure, but I know back when I was doing, that's what it was. That's one aspect of it. Now, what about the aspect of what do you pay the ministers? What do you pay the music staff? What do you pay this one, pay that one? You got to give them whatever their part is, and then, you got housing expense, you got, gas expense, you got all this stuff that, a church is almost really like a business, nowadays. It's run kind of like a business. Hey, you have to account for everything that comes into you, and you have to account for everything going out from you. So that's one, that's another aspect. And then you get into the part, like I was saying, you got all the expenses, you got gas, your electric, your, say if if you've got a daycare, well, that's got to be run just like a business also. You could bring that all into almost like a center, that, hey, this is where we brought this money in. This is where we sent it to. And I feel like the churches, and when I say churches, again, that covers the whole thing, whatever you're into, but temples, synagogues, or whatever. But you're sending money out, and I feel like that churches are an extended arm of the community. In other words, if you give to a church, that church is going to bless people in the community. And that goes whether they have a cancer patient, whether you have disabled vets, whether you have people that need food, whether you have people that need housing, all of that comes into play. That's all part of the church. So if a person's really hurting, and they're down on luck in life, I mean, things unfortunate happen to people. They will tend to, first place sometimes they go to is to a church to see if they can get some sort of help. And it's good to have it there. And this tracks all of that. So
For
counting,
sure.
I would say, is a big one.
Absolutely, for sure, Milo. So I do see that, the biggest thing for me on my church is the charity part, right? Every week, every month, they have several different programs for charity. It's going to be very helpful for the churches to get their hand in one of our product called O Bless, right? O Bless
Absolutely.
is something that it's a center of OnPassive, yet anyone can use it. But what I'm saying here, not just any churches can use O Bless, any churches can have their own O Bless program, right? So I'm going to have you start talking about O Bless, what it is first, and then we can start talking about how any churches can create their own O Bless, Milo.
Okay, yeah, sure. O Bless is a beautiful product, and it allows a whole bunch of people, just tons of people from around the world to bless someone. If someone's got a need, and you put that out there, you maybe put a story out there, and a person wants to bless them. And I always say, oh, bless, I feel is for smaller amounts. In other words, you don't want to bless someone with $250, say on Oh Bless, probably, because why not just buy them a spot? Because remember, if you buy them a spot, you bring them into the program, that not only helps whatever you're doing. So in other words, say if someone had cancer, let's just say if someone had cancer, you could bless them, and so you send it out to a whole bunch of people, and a bunch of people send $10, $20, $30. That's where I feel that Oh Bless is good for. Now, if you have $250 you want to give, buy them a spot, because remember, that pays month after month after month after month and gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And not only that, that helps whatever you're funding, that allows that to help that. But Oh Bless, I feel, is a great program, probably one of the best, because it's GoFundMe accounts. When you do a GoFundMe account, that GoFundMe account takes sometimes, I think, up to 30% out, and so imagine, instead of giving a person $100, they're only getting $70, GoFundMe's getting the other. With Oh Bless, there is no charge. In other words, all the money goes to it. That's a great plus on that, so I feel like that it'll be able to be helped. And when you run it in with other parts, imagine if you have a family, let's say a family house burns down, and you want to get them some money, you want to get them some help. So you run a story, but you use Connect to do a video of it that plays, it'll play 24 hours a day. It'll just keep playing. That way you can bring that need to the public, or to all the founders, and they might send a few dollars here and there, but a few dollars here and there amongst the millions of people is millions of dollars, right? So it's a great, great. Oh Bless is one of the best programs out there.
Right, absolutely. And you have touched on it, Milo, that any churches, any ministry can actually get a position or two, because once you get your position, you'll be able to fund so many projects, right? Because there's so many projects or so many charities that churches are involved to help. And I think Oh Bless is something that really helped. Everyone, you are watching this today. Basically, what we're talking about is how OnPassive can help. And if you are a guest here today, please get back with the person who shared this webinar or who shared this discussion with you. Get back with them and said, I'd like to become a founder of OnPassive. Once you do that, you'll be able to get access to all the products that we're bringing on here. What Milo and I are talking right now is just a general conversations that we wanted to spark some more ideas in you, just so that you could actually think about it. If you go to church, if you go to worship every week, you want to put your hand out and say, how can I help these organizations? So what we are discussing here, it's just really bring out some topic. We would love to hear from you. I can only say the part from my side as a churchgoer. Milo could say the part of him on his end as a churchgoer, as a son of the
Son of a preacher man.
Yeah, but a lot of things. But I know Milo and I cannot cover everything, right? So we would love to hear from you, the audience here, the panelists here that joining us today. And let's talk, because if you don't bring up the challenges that you're facing, we don't know how to, give you that solution, right? Because I believe OnPassive has all the solutions there is to help you to deal with certain things that you're facing in life. Am I correct, Milo?
That's very correct. I mean, anything from how do I bring people to church? How do I invite people? Sometimes people can't do that. They can't. They're just not comfortable saying, "Hey, why don't you come to church with me?" But they're not afraid to send out an email that says, "Hey, our church has something going on," and bring them to that. That's one of the best ways there is to grow a church, so. And I did see a hand go up there real quick. Let's see, who was it? Augustine. Augustine, come on down and talk to us, brother. Oops, maybe his hand disappeared. But anyway,
I'm here.
Oh, he's
okay.
here. He's here.
Okay.
Okay. I just want to chip in my own views about how the OnPassive can help with the church or synagogue. Um, I want us to look at it from the point of that churches or whatever synagogues and all that, those are businesses, because they are grouped for tax purposes. They are grouped under non-profit businesses. Since they are grouped under non-profit businesses, they actually carry out all activities of a business, and just that they don't have to pay taxes because their uh, their model is focused on helping people. So I think that I will not even go to the extent of discussing just one product of OnPassive, but I will tell you that they will need all those products on OnPassive. They would, because think of all staff. Churches normally would have a church would normally have staff. Either they are staff, the temporary staff, or permanent staff, and they will have to do some scheduling for part-time or for full-time. So I see them having great use for all staff. And also, of course, oh bless. All bless is all about projects. Church carry out their businesses in form of projects, and so they would need all staff to carry out their projects, and I think that that would be a very successful way if they use on passive, because there is nothing they're going to do that would not require most of these other uh, products on passive. So I will just throw it out and tell them that let them go for it, because most businesses, small businesses, big businesses, or large businesses, and governmental structures would need this. And so I guess, except depending on the size of the church, they might need maybe fewer products from OnPassive, but a mega church would need all that we have OnPassive.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Absolutely, Augustine. You know, when we talk about products of OnPassive as a whole, I think that all the products in OnPassive, starting from domain name, you know, all the churches will need it. You know, think about, I'm going to go ahead and mute you, Augustine, because there's noise coming out from your end. So, you know, really it's from A to Z, because OnPassive has a complete digital solution that can help churches. I mean, talk about OChat. OChat is something, or a chat box where, you know, churches needs to have people there, has to hire staff to actually answer, you know, the daily questions, taking calls, and, you know, all of that stuff. So OnPassive has a package for everybody. I mean, the products themselves has for everyone. So all the churches, you know, if you're here and you're not sure how you can get access to those products, we are in beta testing right now. But if you like to get access to the products that we mentioned them here, you could get back with the person who shared this message with you, who shared this webinar with you, and then ask them for their link to become a founder of OnPassive. Once you become a founder of OnPassive, you will get access to all those products, right? One of the things that I know we haven't mentioned much here is that, you know, look at this pandemic time right now. You know, there are so many churches that cannot open, cannot get gathering together. Connect would be something that the churches could use, right, to broadcast their entire service to not only to their parishioners, but to the entire world if they want to, right, Milo? Talk about Connect really quick.
Absolutely. That is a big one, Julie. That is a big one. Connect, imagine whether you're a mega church or whether you're a small church, having your own TV station, because you can do it. You can do syndicated broadcasts. In other words, you could have your own channel, and your church service comes on in prime time. And, you know, maybe someone that you like, whether it's a singer, whether it's this or that, you know, you got programs for your youth, you got programs. How about for the elderly? How about for the shut-in? How about providing a program where that they get to hear the old hymns? Because a lot of older people, you know, they feel almost disconnected because of the newer music, the contemporary music. They don't care for that. They would rather have the older hymns. Well, what about providing that to them, whether it's whatever time you want to, because they can see it anytime. Remember, you can run a video for 24 hours a day. You can advertise your church 24 hours a day on prime time, basically. And remember, all the advertisement is done for you by OnPassive, because they are going out there and they are looking for people that maybe go to church or want to go to church. And so they're going out there and doing that, and you can provide for it in a TV type thing. So that's all a good thing. So I see my good friend Marty's got his hand up. Marty, come on down and talk to us, brother.
Hello. Sorry, I'm babysitting, so I would rather be here Anyway, a couple things. Talking about O Connect and whether you're having Bible study or, in fact, we had church on Zoom because people couldn't get together. But on O Connect, remember this: they have speech to text. So if you have a problem with hearing or a language problem, like I could go in English and it'd be interpreted in Spanish. I'm not sure what all the languages would be, but it's set up to do, I think, 50 some in the beginning. And Ash, you'll keep adding to it. So my gosh, the boundaries that we have now that hold us back will be eliminated with O Connect, because you'll be able to chat with anybody anywhere about any part of this. And everybody has their own. I know Milo's Pentecostal. I guess mine's closer to that. But yeah, and you could do Bible study. You could do songs, sing songs, right? I mean, some of the old songs are the best ever made. And people younger than me don't even know them, that should be a sin by itself. You should be on your way to hell going. I'm just kidding. No, but I mean, there's a lot of beautiful songs and stories and stuff you could tell people. I mean, I've got a boatload of stories that you could just sit around and talk like I have a fireside chat, but a gospel fireside chat, if you know what I mean. So, and you don't force anybody there. People go that want to go. If they want to go to another one, they go to another one. That's the neat thing about OnPassive. You can fine tune it to whatever you want. Another thing, there's so many, we get back into singing. How many people started their career in a choir, in a church? Wow. Some of the best singers in the world I've seen. I'll tell you right now, I've met them in church. They sing and you're going, oh my gosh, nobody knows who they are. Now, I don't know if they want to know, but if they ever went on and sang, they'd be a superstar. No joke, especially in choir and people singing. I mean, I've seen people sing gospel music and make you cry. I'm no kidding. I mean, just amazing. So, I mean, the sky's the limit. And all these meetings the last 4 or 5 days have been about the potential of OnPassive. What are the possibilities? And I'm going to do you all a favor.
Joyce, are you listening to what you are?
Hold on, Marty.
That's okay. But it's endless, absolutely endless what we can do. And in fact, if you think of one, it'll remind you of something else. If you do something else, it'll remind you of something else. And all the people we're going to meet. And remember, one day we will be the hunted. What does that mean? People will be coming to us for things. And if you set down a foundation right now, have a foundation of something you love, something you do, it's only going to get bigger. Why? Because we're starting at 1 million. But what happens when there are 100 million customers and there's already a place to go to do gospel music, or there's a place to learn how to play guitar, whatever. I'm just saying, get in, find what you're passionate about, and it's only going to get bigger. And you don't have to lift a finger. It's going to get bigger just because the community is going to expand. So yeah, it's mind blowing. I mean, I think about it every day. I know people look at a title and they go, "Oh, Connect, conferencing." Nah, I don't need that. Bull. It'll be one of the biggest things we do is O Connect. Guarantee it. Look what happened to Zoom. Zoom went up $100 billion in value in 1 year. 100 billion in 1 year. And look at it now. Everybody knows what Zoom is, and it has limitations. This Zoom right here, $9 grand. $9,000 a month. Unlimited somewhere else for what? Pennies? Oh, come on. It's going to be mind blowing. And like I said, think about what you want. Think about your past. Don't try to be somebody else. You all have things you love. Set it up. Set up a little place. You get O Connect, and you'll see people coming. And what will happen is, 5 will come, 10, 100, 5,000, 50,000, 100,000. That's how it's going to grow. It's going to grow like that, whether you like it or not. So if you don't think of it, somebody's going to. I know I went over my 3 minutes, but anyway, that was perfect. Yeah, you gotta look at what the possibilities are.
Absolutely. Thank you, Marty, for being here as well. The possibility in OnPassive is endless. Think about if you could use Connect and have your worship music running all day, 24 hours a day, 360 days a year, right? You got to use it. You got to run it. And all you got to do is be a founder of OnPassive. And once you are in it, you're going to see that there's other chances. I mean, I would say, you know, in churches, you know, you might want to have a few of those positions, right? A few of those where you actually can have each individual of, you know, maybe one in the financial department that can help support the financial department, one in the music department, right? Could help the music department. I mean, one in the school. I mean, there's so many of the choices that you can make, and the stream of, you know, possibility. I'm not going to say money, but the stream of possibility that you can use for OnPassive. I'm going to call on Momodu. Momodu, I see you have your hand raised. All right, I'm going to.
Yeah, Miss Julie, how are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry, I couldn't open my video. You know, the point I wanted to hit on, you just took it from my mouth, which is OConnect. So, but I'm going to mention how OConnect will be able to assist our Muslim brothers and sisters who are attending mosque, because it's like we are talking about religious places. So OConnect will be able to help the mosque that conduct prayers every Friday at the exact time. That will be able to help them to conduct their sermons every Friday to all over the world for those who cannot go to places due to this pandemic. So that's the only thing I wanted to add. I wanted to talk more about it, but you already talked about it, and Mr. Mari. So that's how I see OConnect will be able to help our Muslim and brothers and sisters that attend mosque.
Absolutely, Momodu. With the pandemic, we've all grew to a different way of life. And Marty, I'd like to go back to what Marty had said. You know, Marty had some hit on some great big points there. You know, it allows the church to be much more well-rounded and to give whatever everybody wants to them. But maybe, you know, because when you go to church, there's only so much time you have, and you might not be able to do exactly what the young people want and what the old people want and what this one wants and that one wants. And different people have different things that they maybe want to be involved with, you know. But how cool is it? Like Julie was saying, you know, and stuff, Connect. You know, and this is all integrated together. This is the beauty of OnPassive, is it's all connected together. How beautiful is it that you can run your own TV station, just like I was saying, and it doesn't have to be all from your church, but it could be from something that you like, that you bring in, that other people would like, and you can bring them on. But the cool thing is you get to control when it goes on. You know, you get to put whatever you want to in prime time, which could be your church or your thing, you know, and you could also run, you know, what you're doing with your food bank, what you're doing with missions. You know, how many times do we support missions and we really don't know what's even going on over there? So imagine if you're supporting a mission, and say you're going, and I love this part of OnPassive. When I talk about, you know, remember only 59.2% of the world has the internet right now. What about the other 39.8%? What about them? What are they doing? And what's going to happen when this thing called OnPassive gets to them? Okay. Remember, they don't have internet. They don't have a phone. They don't have a banking system. Three things that they do not have. I guarantee you, you know, those places, a lot of places do not have that. What happens when you happen to support them, and say you support a missionary, but you say to the missionary, we want you to support other people. So when we give you money and you start making money, we want you to support others. So all of a sudden you go into this country, this remote area where they don't have banking, they don't have phone, they don't have internet, they don't have anything. All they know is maybe they stand out and do a rain dance, or they sit by a fire and they sing, because I think everyone has music in them, but maybe not music as we know. What happens when that does happen? What happens when they're able to watch what's going on in a church? Now that remote area, they can have their own church service where people can see, and maybe they don't have to drive, or walk 80 miles to go someplace. They can see it. It's going to expand. It's going to grow. I feel that's one of the big things, huge things that's there. And like Marty said, remember, if you don't think of it now, someone will. Okay, so isn't it better to be on the front end of that bubble so that when people are looking for a church or they're looking for this or that, they can click on it and they can find it through you? Because remember, OnPassive's going to advertise for you and going to bring people there. All right, I see we got another hand up. Oh, Gladys, come on down. You're muted, Gladys.
I'm here.
There you go.
Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Julie and Milo, for this show. Great interaction as always. I'm looking at OnPassive. I'm amazed every time I try to go through the product and see what it can do to me. Before I came to the United States, I was a Sunday school teacher. And when I came to the US, unfortunately, I left those children kind of suddenly. Some of them were able to hold on, but some of them, their life was kind of messed because they fell apart. And I think that through OnPassive, I can be able to get some part of healing process by trying to bring children again together for Sunday school, back home, but through OnPassive. I'll be able to use OConnect to be able to talk to them. I'll be able to use OCapture. I'll be able to stream my videos, teaching them Sunday school, teaching them music, doing the things that we love to do together. And since we'll be having OMAT, I want to be able to, I hope t-shirts will be part of what will be there and other products. I would like to buy them things from OMAT to supply to them. I would like to use Academy, which is also a product of OnPassive, to be able to teach these children. And our pastor is a founder back home. But I need to explain to him about OBless. OBless is a product that will really, a platform that will be able to help him a lot because he does projects, but funds are limited. So as a founder, being in OnPassive, he can use OBless to raise funds to be able to do the projects that he loves to do through charity, instead of always depending on the Christians most of the time who don't have enough to give. So this will really be good. I'm looking forward, and I will encourage him and educate him about all stuff. So I'm planning to go home for summer. I'm intending to do a lot of teaching to the founders back there what OnPassive can do for them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gladys. That was beautiful. I appreciate you bringing some of really great point, Sunday school, right? And then what about kids are taking field trip, right? Every time when they are going on field trips, what do they need? They need financial support, right? Well, we can have them do, their t-shirts, their hats, and sell them and fundraise them. Or if you are running that program, you might want to get a position for that program, right? Have that designated to that. We brought up OBless, right? OBless is the center of OnPassive. OBless is OnPassive OBless. What about OBless for your own charity, your own churches, right? I would actually thinking about that too. I've already have a few for my churches, different church that I go to, right? So I see Marty's hands up. I love to hear from Marty.
gonna wish you didn't ask me to come on here today. Hey, no, another thing, with O Connect, think about this for a minute. O Connect will have a link to go to YouTube. Okay. Now, if you start something, now you're talking with people in OnPassive, but you can also start talking with people outside of OnPassive. So when they come in to come see you, now they're in our world, which is called OnPassive. While you're doing that, look at all the tools that are linked. Okay. Let's say you slap an image up. The image was made by Odit, right? And you think, well, I can make images. You know how hard it is to make an image and put a link in it? It's pretty hard. But you can make all kinds of images with URLs in it. So you can put something up as a poster and somebody, man, that's a nice post. I wish I could have one. All these things create people asking questions. A question means they're going to join you eventually. But once you can link to the outside world, I left a message when asked last night. There's a lot of Facebook stuff I don't like. But I talked to him. I don't know what he's going to do. He didn't say, but he just said that Facebook will be useless someday. Anyway, but I said, what about, like I have a group OnPassive Nation, okay? And people, now that group was set up to educate people on OnPassive, right? Well, now, could you imagine you're doing your own little marketing, right? Which I will, because I'm a marketer. I bring people in, I show them something. Nobody signs up on the first day. So I say, would you like to learn more? And they say, yes. Where am I going to direct them? I'm not going to direct them to Facebook group. I'm going to direct them to OnPassive group. So now they're in, they don't know they're in. Now you're showing them other things. They're going to see guitar playing. They're going to see Spanish. They're going to see whatever they want to learn. And they're going to listen. Curiosity killed the cat, right? I mean, once you give people an option to look around and it's no threat. See, it's zero threat. Once you start this, hey, do you want to buy this? Do you want to get, it turns people off. If you open the mall up and let them shop on their own, they will buy and they'll find something they like. All you have to do is have the window, right? You have to have a real nice window as they're walking through the mall. And the mall is OnPassive. So you get them in and they're walking and go, man, I'd like to have that. I'd like to have that. Everything they could possibly need will be in OnPassive. And we already know there's stuff we don't know, right? I mean, we know there's actual handheld things that are going to be made. I mean, you got to expand. If you don't have a headache right now, get out and come back in because something's wrong with you. Because you should be thinking, no, seriously, the sky is the limit. I really, and it's never better than day one. Never. I think it'll be a grand slam for months and a couple of years, but it's never better than the first couple of weeks. Never better than the first couple of months. So think now what you're going to do. I always hear people say, should I start a YouTube? How long have you been in? 3 years. You should have started it 3 years ago. But it's never too late. Do it now. Well, I don't know why everybody's got one. Okay. Use math here for a minute, because this is where it drives me insane. Well, what am I going to do on YouTube channel? I got 3 views, 4 videos. Okay, put on a video every day. Take one from somewhere and put it on. Here's what's going to happen. We're looking at things at 1 million people. How is it going to look at 100 million? And that's what's going to happen. When they hear, listen, Ash made a foundation of OnPassive that is going to flip the world upside down. And it's a foundation that we don't know. Why? It's an iceberg. 90% is under the water. We don't know what's there. But his whole thing for 3 years is not about launching. It's about killing it when it does launch. Because when people go to look, there's not going to be one place they can go without finding about OnPassive. And when they go to YouTube, they're going to see Julian Milo. If they go to YouTube, they can see Rose. They can see Lynn Nakamoto. It's up to you. You could do that now. There's little things you could do right now. I sound like I'm telling you what to do because I am telling you what to do. No, but everybody knows everybody here. 100 million people, you're going to be known by accident. So if you put a flag up, they're going to see you. But do something now. Think now where you want to go, what your passions are. You don't have to build a bridge now, but the foundation is being built right now to have the biggest impact in the world. And that's Listen, you go on right now and you punch in what is OnPassive. It'll take you to the blogs. It takes you to videos. It takes you all over the internet. It's everywhere. What do you think is going to happen when 100 million people are doing that?
Be everywhere more.
It's mind blowing. I mean, I'm telling you, it's mind blowing. It'll be on the news. What is this OnPassive? And hey, every time they do that, it makes more people come. And we're part of that. So take advantage of it. That's all I'm saying. All right, I got to watch the kids. Hold on.
Absolutely, Marty. Good points. And, you know, in the Field of Dream movie, they said, build it and they will come. Build it and they will come. And it's all about consistency. You know, I've said it many times. Just be consistent. Now, today we're talking about churches. So I just want to tell you that if you go to church, if you have any involvement in a church or you know any church, you need to tell them, hey, start now, build it. Okay, get a spot. You know, there's so many things that this will help with. As a minister's son, I remember my dad worked hard. He put everything in the ministry. But guess what? When it came time for him to retire, he had nothing. He done well. I mean, all of us kids did well, and so he was fine. But what I'm saying is when a minister works a lot and stuff, what about buying a minister just the spot and then putting a church underneath it? And that will be his retirement plan. It will serve as his retirement plan. You know, and I feel that Marty was saying, you know, about do it now. And that is so true, man. And it doesn't matter what you do right now, but we need to start thinking about it, because when it comes, it's going to come fast, and it's going to, if you're not thinking about it and you're not already started in it, you're going to be behind the 8 ball. Not that you'll be behind the guys that are out front, but you're still in it way early. Remember, you're going to be the people who know, because you're here today and you're listening to stuff like this, what Marty said, what I say, what Julie says, you know, and you listen to that. And if you take action on it right now, or at least start formulating it in your mind, what am I going to do? Maybe you can't right now, you can't afford to put a spot in for your church, but when it starts going, will you do that? It's a big thing. You know, when you put a spot in for your church, all of a sudden, now you've given your church access to Academy, where they can train. You know, you could be trained by a worship leaders. You could be trained by a preacher. How about being mentored by one of the top ministers in the world, and you learn how to give a sermon? You get sermon notes from it. All of this is all available in Academy. We already have the tools to do it. It's just a matter of doing it. And with Connect, you know, like I said, I keep saying this, you almost have your own live TV that can do anything that you want to. And with Academy, really the same thing. Now, also remember, when you do something like this, you are putting people that maybe want to learn to do that. All of a sudden, they're going to be involved with your church. They're going to start, you're going to find new people, you know, that come to your church. And, you know, as churches, you know, one of the things is you want to get the gospel out, whatever, you know, you want to make sure that everyone in the world knows it. Well, what better place than OnPassive? You know, we are in 212 countries, which really there's only 195, I think, in the world, or 197. But we even got some little islands and things like that are territories that, you know, we're basically calling countries. So, I mean, we have it blanketed. So we are building it. And when you build it, remember, they're going to come. And like Marty was saying, be consistent, man. When should you started the YouTube? Well, 3 years ago. If you came in 3 years ago, you know, because the truth of it is, people are going, when it gets bigger, which it will. You know, right now we're getting maybe 1,200 to 1,800 a day in. You know, but what happens when that number jumps from 10,000 to 250,000 people a day? Every day, man, it's more people. It's more people that you're in front of. You know, and you don't really have to do anything different. You know, you just you provide whatever you want to provide, whatever you're passionate about. And I get back to that a lot, you know, as I don't think people are going to be passionate about what they're doing, and with OnPassive, that is the way it's going to be. All right, Julie, you got
Absolutely.
anything?
All these points that we are bringing up here, like I said earlier, just to help everyone kind of really think further than where you are today as a founder of OnPassive. And if you are a guest of OnPassive and you are facing challenges and obstacle in your life, in your church, this is it. This is the solutions right here, what we are discussing right here. There's a question in the chat, Mr. Or Mrs. Excellent Enterprises. I don't believe this is your name, but the question is, how can OnPassive help growing ministry? We have been discussing just that questions for about an hour now. So I would suggest if you would either get back with the person or go to the live stream and really listen to this again, what we discussed here, because we brought up so many points that could actually help you to answer that questions as well. And for all of us here, everyone has a desire to help churches, charities, missionaries, right? I think this is really a good time for you to really take your time and write down what's closer to your heart, what projects close to your heart. Do you want to focus on youth ministry? Do you want to focusing on putting some effort in helping single mom in your church, right? So this is it. And, create your own Oblast. I believe Oblast, what OnPassive put it out for us, is the platform for all of us to use, which we can, in turn, our own creating Oblast. One thing I want to bring it up too, Milo, is that, building churches. How many churches want out there that want to expand the churches? And when they do that, they'll come back to the parishioner and asking for donations. What if right now they have a position or 5 positions on OnPassive and all that funds go toward building churches? I love to hear more from Marty. I see his hand raised here. Marty.
You're just making me think about other things. Like if you had a channel that you have one, weekly, or you can videotape it and have it there and people can add to it, like a testimonial of what God has done for you in your life. Come on, are you kidding me? I mean, that would be inspirational for people to come listen to a video, and then they could contact you later, say, I just watched your video. It was amazing. I had the same thing happen, blah, 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 right? And those kind of conversations, I don't care what religion you are, those kind of conversations are good for the world right now, because everything else is so nasty. I mean, we hear about bad, but I've got stories that I'll never forget in my life, ever forget, that I've seen with my own eyes. And because, a lot of people talk about God did this, God did that. The God I know is alive and well right now. So it would be a really cool thing if we could, even something like that, like a testimonial thing, or, oh my God, I mean, there's no limit. There's no limit.
Absolutely, Marty. That's a great point. Testimonials, I actually had never even really thought about that. But if you had an inspirational show, and not just from you, but anyone that wants to be on it, and maybe even have like an interview with it, that would be a good thing. And I've thought of, for years, I've thought, there's great ministers that have had tremendous things done in their life. How cool would it be to sit down with them and interview them and say, hey, let's talk about this, and let them tell the stories, because God's done some wonderful things and some cool things have happened. And you could have that. Another thing that I've always wanted to do, and I love, is the story behind the song. As a songwriter, there is always a story behind that song. What was in the songwriter's mind when he wrote that song, How Great Thou Art? What was in his mind when Amazing Grace was wrote? What was in his mind when any of the great gospel songs were wrote? Do we know? Some of them we do, some of them we don't. But how cool would that be for a music lover to sit down and listen to that? Or how about having a place where that, or an academy, that you could mentor new ministers, whether it's a youth pastor or whether it's a senior pastor or whatever, but you have these these guys that have been in the ministry for a long time, they sit there and they teach and they tell and they maybe share sermon notes and stuff like this. How much better is that going to make your church? It's going to make it a lot better. And just to share with you what I plan on doing, and this is just my thought, but I'm buying a spot for my minister, number one. Number two, below that, it's going to be a spot for the church. And with that, remember, with those spots, now you got live TV, you got all of these things that the church can use, you know, that they got at their disposal. How cool is that when you can build this whole organization, because remember, everything is integrated together, and they can build, and you can have people come, you can have it watch it. It's going to build your church. Now, what about taking as a, you know, you got that church spot, right? When the money comes in from that church spot, you start filling it in with people in the church. And remember, when you give them a spot, all of a sudden, what does that do? That builds the church, that builds the minister's fund, that builds your fund. You got more funds that you can actually give away. And as you give away more and more to the church, all of a sudden, you know, those people, do you think they're going to be loyal to the church? Absolutely. You know, that's going to make them more loyal to the church. What is that going to do? If you teach them the same thing, all of a sudden, they start giving to people in the church or people with needs around the community. And all of a sudden, that church starts growing, and it's build it, and they'll come. And Julie mentioned about the building fund, and I know that I was always involved with stuff like that, and I always loved to do to pay things off early. As a treasurer, I would try to come up with ways, whether it was fundraisers or whatever, that could help generate capital for the church. Because remember, if you pay just a little bit more on your mortgage, you pay it off in record-breaking time, you know. And so I always would do that, you know. And so this is going to be something you can do. If you want to start a building fund, put in a building fund spot. Now everyone else, if they want to donate to that building fund, they donate, you know, if it's $200 or $300, whatever it is to get in, they buy a spot. Guess what happens? All of a sudden, you didn't just give $200, but it's going to start building, and it's going to pay you back also. Beautiful thing. I love it when a plan comes together.
Absolutely, Milo. Before I bring on Marty, I'd like to say this really quick. OnPassive give you all the tools for you to have a well-rounded parishioner, right? That means we have tools that you can have, creating programs that help single mom, the abuse, you know, the inspirations. There's so many things that you can actually use to create a lot of the program to help the parishioner or the churchgoer have a well-rounded. So I would like for you and Milo and Marty to just kind of focus on, you know, like the things that we've been talking right now, to talk about, you know, what they can do, how they could do it, and what about moving forward after this webinar? What should we do? So I'm gonna go ahead and start it. Have Marty say what he has in his mind first, and we'll move forward to the topic I just brought up. Marty?
Yeah. Another thing, the main thing here is getting people to think about it, okay? Nobody's telling anybody what they have to do, but just open up your mind. Like, for example, let's say you had, since we're talking about ministry, let's say you had Trivial Pursuit, Bible Trivial Pursuit once a week. And when you're making the apples, okay, you could give away a reseller position every week as a prize. The winner wins a reseller position. Trust me. Okay, you're thinking, oh, that's $300. If $300 hurt you down the road, you're in the wrong business, okay? But think about what it does. You give a position away, they're like, oh, people be coming in from YouTube or somebody else, and you just build in it's on and on and on. Yeah, I'm actually driving myself crazy here because I keep thinking of more stuff. But yeah, stuff like that. Just open your mind and see the possibilities. That's all.
Absolutely, Marty. That is a great point. And remember, when you give away a spot, and I don't care who it is, you know, I always say it's not a lottery ticket. It's a winning lottery ticket. There's no way you can lose. I don't care who you, if you give it to the, you know, to someone who's not going to do anything in the world with it, you know, I mean, you don't really care to do that, but say you give it to someone, they don't do anything at all with it. Guess what? It's not going to hurt you. It's going to help you because it's going to build that person. Remember, if the company brings in 3 people, if you average, say 3 people a month or whatever coming in, guess what? Every month you get commission from 3 more people just because you brought that person in. How cool is that? And that's why, you know, Marty, you bring up a great point, man. You always get my mind going. But, you know, the thing with giving away a spot, what if you do that with anything? Anyone could have that position, you know, whether you do a music even tribute. Okay. How about you name old songs, you name old hymns, you name who sang this song first, you know, you come up with that. And there again, you know, at the end, the winner gets a free spot. It gives you a way to give away a free spot, because I honestly believe that we will have so many apples that we can give away a spot to anyone that we want to, you know, and remember, it's going to help us. And if you do that in the realm of a church, you know, you're building your church, you're building your whatever your faith is or whatever, you're actually building it. Julie brought up a great point too. What about single moms? Do you think they need help? I can tell you, they need a lot of help, because I would hate to be a single mom right now with one income, trying to provide for my children, you know, you got to have childcare. What if you got to send them someplace? You know, all of a sudden you got all this stuff going, you know. Well, what if the church has childcare? Does that kind of influence your decision where you go? I think it probably would, you know. So the church has childcare. I can send my children there, especially if I know the teachers, you know, and I know who it is. And remember, you can also have academy where you could maybe have a puppet shows. I know back when I was young, puppet shows was a big thing in churches and Sunday schools and stuff. You know, you have a puppet shows and kids love puppets and telling the story, you know, about Jonah and the whale, or, you know, and all of that, you know. So there's just so many things you can do. I see, Edith has her hand up. Come on down, Edith. You're muted, Edith.
Thank you.
You're still muted.
Is that fine?
There you go.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Edith.
This is a very important and touchy discussion that we are on. For some of us who are into this and coming from developing communities, it sounds very nice, but it's very difficult. Already, since we've been in this OnPassive journey, we've picked up the things that we want to run with. Not because they are the only things that are on our plate. If you talk about churches, I'm talking from South Africa, from an African community and African churches, where the leader of churches, the ministers, hardly at some other month don't even get that stipend. So we need such facilities to be around the churches. But the problem is, this OnPassive journey is all at the same level. It seems to my mind that maybe one would be able to handle as many problems as possible in one's community if possibly things were staggered. Because if we talk churches, we talk childcare, we talk elderly care, there's another terrain. And these are the people, let me talk about the elderly. Elderly are the people who live on pension, meager pension. They are the ones who are in the churches. When the church has got a project, for instance, let me pick up on the education of ministers, young ministers. It is these elderly people who are widowed, who are on pension, that they have to find a way. How do they contribute to that fund? If there is a church, those other churches who run homeless facilities, who run soup kitchens, those are the very older people that we go to, because we also have challenges of high unemployment rate. We've got large sections of young people who are unemployed, who are at school, and now you think, okay, I can have maybe one person that in the church I can empower with a position. How does he then move forward to the next stage? Because you already, as a person, as an OnPassivian, has committed yourself maybe in one or two other areas. Remember, you also have an immediate and an extended family that you already thinking, how are you going to move around with this? It seems to me it would have been a very good idea if at some point after we launch, we would then begin to look at, okay, what would be the next stage? What would be the other level of need that we can begin to address? Let me leave it at that. Thank you.
Absolutely, and I think that that's one thing I've been saying on our show for a long time is at the end of the show, I say number one, we know that the apples are going to be there for you. You know, we know that and we understand that, and all of a sudden that's taken care of. Now, what are we going to do with the rest? And I still think that a lot of us don't realize how big this thing is and how fast this is going to come to us. And you're going to have those apples. And the more you give away, the more you get back. That is the coolest part of OnPassive. The best thing ever is the more that you hand out, the more that's coming back to you. Now, if you're a person that want to just collect, okay, hey, good for you. You know, you can do that. Personally, myself, I plan on giving away. I have lists and lists and lists of people and different charities and different things. And one of them, the big one, is churches. You know, my thing with, I'm going to start with, my family, of course, first, and then move to probably churches and musicians and stuff and cancer patients, because those are things that I am passionate about. So if you happen to fall on 2 or 3 of my lists, say if you're a church member, you got cancer and you're this, well, chances are you're going to be one of the very first that I give that spot to, you know, and as I give away a spot, it's going to grow more apples, and I'll be able to give away another spot. It's going to grow more apples, and hopefully the people that you're giving away to, and especially like church members, how cool is that you know, it just grows. It will grow organically, you know, through the churches, because they're going to give away to people maybe in the church. And all of a sudden, what's that going to do? It's going to build your church, because your church is going to be much bigger. And when you have, you have all of these people advertising for your church, basically, because I mean, you could do that, you could, if you're involved in your church and it starts building there, well, it's gonna give you a lot more firepower. You understand what I'm saying? And so you can really take it any place you want, but I do believe that we don't realize how big this thing is. When Ash comes on and says, dream bigger, dream bigger, dream bigger, dream bigger, dream bigger, and you think, man, I'm dreaming so big right now. I don't know that it can happen. And then he comes on the show and he says, you know what? I don't care how big your dream is or what you're thinking. It's 1,000,000 times bigger. That'll
Yeah,
blow your mind.
maybe you're right, Milo. We don't quite understand how big this thing is. And secondly, even if you understand, it would be nice to have other people understanding this whole thing like you. We struggle, even the people that we have managed to push in, they're still doubting you, and you have nothing to show them except trying to show all these products that it is going to happen. Now, our level of faith is not the same. You really struggle even to pull the people along to say, see this thing, this is what we can do about this. And but we have to struggle on and keep on trying. And the more you talk, the more one gets the ideas in terms of what else can she try and convince people with. Actually, anyway, let me
Edith,
leave it.
let me say this to you. Listen to you talk. I believe that what you're struggling with a little bit is you've given positions out to people and they're not doing anything because they don't understand it. Okay, I get that. Now, this is my opinion. Now, this is not, I'm not saying this is what everyone's got to do, but my opinion is I don't give away spots to people. Okay, I put in spots and I name them. So if I name one churches, okay, I'm going to wait till this thing starts and it starts going, and then I'm going to give them reseller spots. As far as the founder spots, I keep those all basically to myself, except like my kids, of course. I gave my kids because I want them to be founders. But if you don't have it in you, if you don't have no skin in the game, more or less, if you want to come in as a founder, hey, I'd love to have you as a founder. It costs $102. If you don't want to pay the $102, hey, that's okay. I'll probably bring you in later anyway if you're a friend of mine, right? So you don't have to pay anything then. So it's up to them. Let them make that choice. You see what I'm saying? You buy the spot yourself. Hold on to the founder spot, because I'm going to tell you right now, that founder spot for $102, you are getting $1 billion company. That thing's going to create billions of dollars over the years for your family, your legacy. Okay. There's no need in giving that out to someone else if they don't even believe in it. You know, if they don't believe in it, why give it to them right now? Just bring them on as a reseller when that time comes, you know, and they don't have to do anything.
You see, we took these positions. Sorry, Julie. When there was a
sorry, I
COVID.
need to cut in really quick because this is a live stream. Let's have this discussion when we have a founder meeting, which is on Monday.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I had to really, because this is really, we're not really talking, discussing, you know, founders, you know, thoughts and ideas and stuff like that. This is focusing on churches. And so I like to hear from Marty, and then I bring on some more topics we can talk about.
No,
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thanks for being here with us. Marty?
You don't have to be sorry. Listen, here's the thing. You know, you talk about, well, people aren't doing what I do. A picture's worth 1,000 words. You do what you do, and people will see it. Some will react one way, some will react the other. That's none of my business. That's none of my business. Jesus himself couldn't talk people in what the right way. Fat Marty in New Jersey is not going to be able to do it. But if they see what you did, or somebody comes up and said, how did you get that position? Oh, I was playing Bible trivia. Okay. When they see how you walk, you will draw people like you. We can't say that's not true. We have 1,200,000 founders, and a lot of them have the same heart and the same direction as everyone else, because you do draw people that you're like. Now, the one thing, okay, poor and the disadvantaged will be with us until this world is over. But that doesn't stop us for taking a chunk out of it, right? And do the best we can. Like Ash always said, by himself, he can do very little, very little. July in 2018, when there was 2 or 3 people and they said, oh, we'll give invitations away and we'll see what we can do. 1,200,000 people later shows exactly what can happen of what we're talking about today. Because guess what? At 1,200,000, we haven't done anything yet. We haven't done anything yet. And people will come, Edith, and believe it or not, their eyesight will go from very poor to 2020 when they see things happening. Some people don't have faith until they see it. Look, I believe in oxygen. I can't see it, but cover my mouth and my nose for 20 minutes. You'll see how much you believe in it then. So some people have to see it. My point is, you walk the walk, you talk the talk, and the ones that you want to see it will see it, and the ones that don't, who cares? You're still going to make an impact on everybody else. Really, I mean, proof is the last 3 years. Proof is the last 3 years, 3.5 years. It's only, and this is nothing. We haven't done anything yet. When the apples come and you can actually show things, there's going to be people coming back to you, Edith, back to me, back to Julie, back to Sherry, back to people here, Cynthia Brown, and they're going to say, hey, wait a minute, a couple of years ago when you told me about that thing, was that thing OnPassive? Yeah. Can I still get in? Yeah, well, by golly, yes, you can. And they can be a reseller, right? And like Milo said, I do not give founder positions away. If you can't walk the journey like I did, you're not dragging behind, you're not going to hold on to my coat while I drag you either. So they can be a reseller. I'll give them away every week. Every week I'll give them away. I'm not giving away a founder position, never, never. Anyway, I hope that helped. I don't even.
That's right, Marty. Love what you're sharing. And the truth of it is, it's a journey that you go through and you learn from it. Giving the founder position away, it means that you're giving someone something for free. You're feeding them with a spoonful of gold, and it's kind of like that. It's really helped. I think what we're talking here is a purpose. Have a mission to do it. So talking about mission, I wanted to bring back to church, and I'm going to read some of these groups that you might see that you might want to be part of this group in your church, right? And if you being part of your church, that means that you can help them, not necessarily giving them a founder position, but having a position designated, use a fund from it designated to those groups, right? So I don't know if this ring a bell to you, or if you're running a church and you don't have these programs, I hope that these programs may help you. For example, you have the younger kids, the elementary level formation, right? Or you can go to junior level, and you can go to high school faith formation. You can cover anything, right? And then you have a program where you are welcome newcomers, the new inquirers that come in and inquire about your organization. You can also have an organization about adult or children Bible study. What about small faith group? What about the parish missions? Now, I'm only speak from my end as a parishioner going to church every Sunday, right? I'm sure there are things that you can think of, but I want to bring these up, right? What about the prayers? You designate certain days in the week, for people to come for prayers. What about family foundations? You're focusing on teaching or helping with family, building that family foundation. What about grief support? There's people passing away. You got to have a grief support in in your church. What about marriage ministry, right? That has to have a ministry where you counsel, or you teaching, or you do a family, faith foundation. What about divorce support group? I mean, look at the divorce rate nowadays. If we're focusing on the family mission, we're focusing on other parts of the family, we might not need the divorce support, or it's probably a smaller group. What about moms group? What about moms that are single raising kids? How can us as a community or as a parish, helping with moms group? How about dad's group, right? How about prayers and just meditation? You have all the tools at the hand as your fingertips to help with these groups. How about retreat workshop? How about speaker series? How about summers or spring gatherings? I mean, all of these organizations or group that you have, think about what do you need to run these groups? Financial and the people, the qualifying people to run these groups. Will you be able to do that on your own? I'm sure you do, but do you want to bring it to another level where you could use OnPassive products, where you could use the apples that you made in OnPassive to be able to run these and to be able to create this? So I really, truly think that if you're watching this here today, just think about the decision that you have to make, right? Become a founder of OnPassive costs you only $97. Well, I say $102 because you have to pay for the fee. But then it's going to open you up to another venue or tools and services that you'll be able to do. What about sharing your faith with the world? You can also use OnPassive products to be able to do that as well. So this conversation here, this discussion here, really, truly would like to stir up our mind a little bit. Things that you haven't looked at. Marty might look at this topic in one direction. Milo might looking at another different. I might look at a different. You, as watching this and hearing this, might looking at a different angle. So all of us can put together something that can help with our community, our religious faith and everything as well. I do notice that we only have 30 minutes left. If there is something that you want to bring it up and you haven't bring it up and you want to ask questions, this is the times to do it. Milo, I'm sending it back to you.
Yeah, Julie, you make a great point. Those were all awesome things that you just talked about. And the cool thing about it, as with OnPassive, we have the ability there will be people who are passionate about a family, marriage counseling. Okay, so what happens if you find a good marriage counseling program? What about bringing it onto your channel, your OConnect channel, which is going to be a TV channel, and you have a program and you have it at a certain time every day or every week or whatever, you perform your own program and stuff. You can do that, same way with whatever it is that you're passionate about, because everyone is not passionate about the same thing. In other words, cancer patient, to me, I'm very passionate about it. Why am I passionate about it? Is because I've went through it. I know what it's like to wonder, do I pay my house mortgage or do I buy the medicines that I need? What is more important? I can tell you, the medicine is much more important. When you get to that point, I'm passionate about that. I want to help people that are going through it. Someone who's never gone through it, they're not going to be near as passionate about it because they haven't been through it. So when you walked in those shoes, you're more passionate about it. So the person that lives on the street that's homeless, someone gives him a reseller point, he's going to be more passionate about homelessness because he's been there, he's done that. He becomes very passionate about it, and so I believe this because the OnPassive is integrated with everything, I feel like that the church is going to make a huge contribution to all these things because there's someone in the church that might be passionate about it, that's going to bring other people in. It's going to create a better community. And all of a sudden, like Ash says, we are the correction to the corruption. The things that have been held from us, that's held us down, is no longer going to be there because of, what's coming up. You agree with that, Marty?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just want people to think. That's all. Just think of what's going to happen, or what, you know. I know we look at things now and what we can and can't do. Like Milo, when you said, if you give a position away, how much is it worth later? So I pay $300, and a year later it could be worth 10 grand.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, it's crazy. You should give them away just if you were doing it as an investment. But all the people you can help, and especially Ash talk the one day I asked Ash, I said, do you ever have any time off? He goes, yeah, actually I did. And what'd you do? I gave away food and water to the poor. And then he said, while he was doing that, I'm thinking, wow, you know, I was thinking about what question do I ask after that? But anyway, then he said, but then I thought, you know, with OnPassive, I could have 1 million people doing that. Right? I mean, he can only do so much. He didn't have the time. He didn't have he has the resource, but he didn't have the time. And think about that. Think about the causes. And we're not that unique. You know, when we say, well, not everybody likes playing the guitar. No, but millions do. Right. Millions and millions do. I don't care much about. It's not about what you care about. Find something, like Milo said and Julie said 100 times. Find something that you're passionate with, and trust me, when the people come in by the millions, you're going to find thousands and thousands that love exactly what you love. No kidding. All you got to do is gather them around. And how do you do that? You have a picture there that says, I love this. Come join me. And you'll get swamps of people come join you. So it's cool. And we have the platform to do it with no effort, 0 effort. So anyway, even being a comedian, right?
Absolutely. You know, we will find someone that is passionate about, like you said. I mean, there's group. I thought I went down to the Gaylord yesterday with my sister. It was yesterday, no, Thursday, with my sister, and they had a thing called the Wild Turkey Foundation or something like that. You know, and I've seen this before because I drive Uber and Lyft. I pick these people up. It's 1 week out of the year. These people come here and they gather and they got turkey calls and guns, and, you know, they talk about turkeys. Now, to me, I would be like, what the heck is there to talk about? And why would I go to that? But do you know, people come from all over the world to come to this thing. There was 60,000 people at this convention to a wild turkey thing. It's like, seriously, I'm not passionate about that, but there is people that are. And just like you said, you don't have to be passionate about everything, but whatever you're passionate about, put it out there, do it, you know, and go from there. Back to you, Julie.
Yes, absolutely, Milo. I love what we're talking here, and I do see a hand raised here, Blaze. I just learned that he's actually a priest, and my brother also a Catholic priest. So I would love to hear what you're speaking here, Father Blaze. Please unmute your mic. Try it again, please. It's not letting you.
You're still muted.
You're still.
There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Thank you, Julia and Milo, for bringing this topic to the whole world now, because I can speak from inside the church, because I'm a ministry. I won't be taking this by the side of the apples, because that is, as a founder, I know more now about what is coming. But I'm taking it in the way of the tools OnPassive will bring to the churches or other communities, not only Christian churches, but other communities, Muslim and all. I believe and I know that OnPassive will give us tools, so many tools. OConnect is one of them, to be able to join any other person from everywhere and speak not only about just preaching the gospel, but socializing, with people all around the world. I'm still we are now on Zoom, and I know that already through Zoom, I've met many other people all around the world during this pandemic time, speaking to them, sharing experiences, also doing job of the church, like preaching, celebrating offices, and many others. And I believe All Connect could be a great tool for communities, religious communities. How about Academy? Academy is a great tool because we in the church, and I believe in many other communities, religious communities, they learn, they go to school, they seek for knowledge. And I am now in the UK because I came in to learn and to work at the same time. So Academy will be a tool to provide to any communities where they are. They will not need to travel to have access to knowledge. They provide that knowledge where they are, and any knowledge in any area or skills. I don't want to go far because I don't know more about many products in Academy to describe in details. But just those two, if you take them, they will cover many, there will be a great support for many churches and communities to bring knowledge to those who are preparing themselves to become ministers, pastors, rabbis, I believe in Muslim communities too, or in any others. I don't know all of them all around the world, but I believe that it will be helpful. I believe that it will help also because among communities, we meet together, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, and so on. We dialogue among us. Using All Connect, using OnPassive will make us great our own experience in this area of dialogue within communities, which are very different. And I think if I just stop there, that is enough to help those who are outside at the fences to join OnPassive at this moment, because it is the time. We don't need to wait for the global launch to go for a reseller position. No, it is time now. And I can say to you that for myself, it has been very difficult to speak about OnPassive to other ministers, pastors, or leaders of community. Nobody wants to believe you. They can trust you and get in. A few get in, but many of them are still in the fence. They wait for the time of the harvest to come into the fields. But the best time is now. So I encourage those who are listening to this video, who listen to this video, who are taking part to this webinar. Maybe if they wish, it is time now to take a founder position and from inside OnPassive, learn more about what the company can bring not only to churches and communities, religious communities, but from them to the whole world, because they will be using it as a tool to bring the good news of our humanity to everywhere they are, and more than only spaces where they are doing their job now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Father Blaise, for being here with us. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We are running out of time, and we are probably going to end the shows, but I really like to bring this up, and I haven't brought up. When I was in Arizona, I was belonging to the church, and the church always welcomed the priest from other country or other continent. We had a priest coming from Congo, came over to visit our church, and he was looking to raise funds to build wells and to build a church in Congo. And at that time, I was having some extra fund, absolutely, and so I donated it. But now I'm talking about this topic, thinking it back, I said, if I had, OnPassive, if I had the fund at that time, it's so easy for me to go onto my wallet, right? And have him open his own wallet at that time. And all I need to do is transfer that fund, however that amount of fund, send it over to him. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because I do know that many of us here are having associate or support with churches around the world, not only on where you live, but churches around the world, right? And they always needed the fund to do it. Wouldn't it be nice if you ask them, if you give them a position, a reseller position, not necessarily an old founder position, if you can, give them a founder position or have them participate in as a founder of OnPassive. They have the fund to do that, or you give them a reseller position, and anytime, every year, all you got to do is open your wallet and send that money to them for them to be able to do what they need to do to help the people in their country. How beautiful is that? I believe that OnPassive has given us the ability to do what we want, when we want, how we want, and where we want, or how many people we want to them, and we want them to involve in what we are doing, right? It is not a charity company. It's not a giveaway company. It is a business that has a heart around it and has humanities attached to it. And I believe every single one of us will be able to do it. And now it is time, truly the action item that I want to take here before I'm going to send over to Milo, giving a recap. The action items for all of us to do here is go through your contact and see if you have anyone that associated with church, charities, missions, anything like that. Please talk to them about our discussion here, or better yet, share this video, share this YouTube with them, have them listen to it, and have them become part of OnPassive, even if they don't have the fund to do it now. But if you tap them into the possibility of what OnPassive can do for them, you are the winner, you are the giver, right? So thank you everyone for coming on today for discuss about this topic. Remember, your action item today is look at your contact and start sharing this video out to everyone, right? I'm sending it back to Milo.
Thank you, Julie. And thank you all for coming to the show, man, because we wouldn't have a show without you. I want you to know that. But let's just kind of recap what we talked about today. And like Julie said so beautifully, whatever you do, do it, look to do it right now. And and share this with many people around the world. Everybody can use something of this. And like we talked about, well, how is this going to help churches? Well, number one, it's going to be a great advertising tool to advertise your church. Remember, you can have a live TV program that doesn't cost the church anything. You give them a spot, if that's what you want to do. That's what I would recommend. Down the road, a reseller spot. You have live TV. You're going to be able to help the community. Remember, this goes in 212 countries around the world. What will it help? You can have widows. You can have orphans that you can help. You can have cancer patients that you help. You can help homeless. You can help the food banks that help the community. Let's see. You have Academy. What about Academy? How about having a program for kids, that maybe has puppet shows or something that keeps the kids involved in it. You can also have things for the elderly, the shut-ins, the people with dementia and Alzheimer's. How about having the old hymnals come up, that you can sing? How about Academy as far as training ministers, giving sermons that, outlines? You can have groups that you bring on as that. How about having a daycare in the church? Yep, that's all possible. it's going to advertise for you. It's going to bring in extra funds for you. What if you want to build a brand new, you don't have the funds to build a brand new academy or whatever, a gymnasium, whatever you want to do, a family center. Hey, how about putting in a spot and all of a sudden let that thing build, and you have a building fund, but it builds through OnPassive. Perfect way to do it. Well, what other products? What about accounting? Accounting can be used for keeping track of funds, helping people, keeping everything in line, as far as where the money coming in, where the money going out. How about missions? How about helping someone across, maybe they're helping orphans. They've got no phones, no internet, no nothing. And all of a sudden you're able to contact with the missionary and build something over there, and they can actually watch your service, but you can also watch what your money is doing for them over there. Julie mentioned about clean water. What about clean water? How about giving to clean water? How about buying a spot that says, hey, you know what? This is for water for this area. And as that starts building, they start giving away different spots. It grows, and they can do whatever they want to. They can get new water. They can help the homeless, whatever, all of that stuff. How about old mail? Old mail, you can actually click a button and send it to 1 million people at once. How easy is that to invite people to special services? How about special singings? How about singers coming through and you able to support them? What about a pastor? Does he have a retirement plan? What happens if something happens to the pastor, or how about having a spot in for him and the church below him, so that everyone coming into the church actually feeds up through there, and it helps him out. Like I said, what I'm going to do is everyone in my church, I'll be giving them a reseller's spot down the road. That's something that I want to do. Is that blessing the church? Absolutely. The more you bless people in the church, the more it's going to bless the church itself. How about Julie brought up some good things about like divorce. What about divorce support? What about grief support? That's a big issue. Someone loses a mom or a dad or a son or something like that. I'm telling you, you go through these down times where it's hard. What if you had a support group where they went in and they talked about things? What about Bible studies? Some people are more into the Bible than others. How about taking that to a new level? And you could have, beginners, you could have medium, you could have, and they could go to wherever they want to, and get fed whatever they want to. Not that everyone wants it. I mean, everyone doesn't want to become a Bible scholar, but the ones that want to, how about offering that to them? We talk about building funds. How about missions? Missions, whether it's foreign missions or it's home missions, home missions to me is people in the United States, but they're starting a new work. How about supporting someone that's maybe come from your church or a friend of yours that you want to help them with their church? What about doing something like that? How about with ministers? How about training ministers, whether you're senior level, you're young youth pastor, you're a beginning minister? How about teaching them sermons? How about giving them sermon notes? How about having testimonials like Marty was saying, where you actually have people come on, they tell all the good things that have been done for them. Let's see, how about having trivia? That was a good one. Whether it's trivia on music, it's trivia on, maybe you could even do sermons. Do you remember the sermon so-and-so preached back? What was this question? And you ask questions about it. And then you give away a spot. Remember, when you give away a spot after it's done, not now, I don't give away founder spot just because, if they don't do it, why give them a spot when I could keep it and bless other people down the road? So that's what I do. And then I will bless a lot of people with resellers. Okay, what about Create? It's going to create a website for you. If your church doesn't have a website now, guess what? It will. How about the domain, where you're going to have, the domain name? How about Capture, where you can actually take a picture and you can write on it. You can say whatever you want to. You could have a picture of your church and say service at 10 a.m. and invite people to come, and just boom, send it out to people. Odette, so there's so many different products that all come together, and they all mesh together, but we'll be able to use all of them. But this is a beautiful thing for a church. I recommend that, what I would say is if you have a church, if you go to a church, and if you want to put your pastor in first and put your, and you don't even, they don't have to do anything. In fact, I put my minister in, but he doesn't even know anything about it. You know what I'm saying? He's in there, and when the time comes, he's going to learn, he's going to go. But I don't care that, I don't want to make him feel like, hey, you should tell everyone about it, because church, I don't believe is the place for that. But if you give it out down the road and it blesses people, and Marty said, I think it was Marty that said, or maybe Julie, but when the money, when the apples come and they drop into your wallet, and all of a sudden you're driving around in that SK Cadillac or whatever you want, the Escalade, whatever you want to drive around in, and you drive around and you wave to someone and pull in the driveway, say, hey, how you doing? And they're going to look at you and say, hey, is this OnPassive? How did you get this Cadillac? Or maybe you moved to a different zip code. What's going on here? And when they do that, say, yeah, it's OnPassive, and can I still get in? Well, absolutely, and you put them in as a reseller or whatever. So there's going to be so many opportunities, but the key is build it and they'll come. Build it and they'll come. Be consistent. And I think I hit all the high points there, Julie. So I'm going to send it back to you and take us out of here, because it's about that time and I used up a lot of time. Thank you all for coming so much.
All right, so we are going to end the show in a few minutes, but what I'm doing is right now is I'm putting in the chat the video of this discussion, right? The live video. If you would like it, please take that with you, share that with your churches, your ministers, and all of that. Not only that, though, think about this really quick. I just lost my thought.
Oh boy.
I have something really good that I wanted to bring here, but that's okay. We can talk about that later on. The important part of it is do what you can today, right? Do what you can today by sharing the video. Don't worry about how the product worked. Take what you are hearing from here and know what are these products going to make the changes in your life, in other people's life. Think about that only. Don't worry about how it works, or, if I want to do this, would this product work with it? Don't worry about it. I would like you to share OnPassive as it was a great tools for you to be able to use later on without you knowing how it's been built, how it's going to work. So do what you can today by sharing OnPassive, inviting people come to one of these meetings, these discussions. As you understand, the Julie and Milo show, we do 2 shows that has everyone in together on Wednesday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, and then on Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Every single show that we are doing from now on is focusing on how OnPassive can help. You can fill in the blank. If you have the topic that you want us to bring it up and discuss here, we're more than welcome to have you coming on, or have you bring us the topic. We are going to do it. The important part is that when you come on to one of these discussions, we'd love to hear from you adding the value to our discussion. You can add the value wearing the hat as a founder of OnPassive, or you can add the value wearing the hat as you are, let's say we are doing real estate next week, right? You can wear the hat as a person who involved in real estate and bring up the challenges, the obstacles, all the difficulties that you are facing with, because I believe OnPassive has a solutions that can solve all of that obstacle and challenges, right? So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. The link for this webinar is in the chat. I'm going to share that one more time, 2 times. Please make sure you subscribe to it. Click the bell so that when you are hearing, see the notification that coming, we are covering this every single week, twice a week, right? So if you are looking to join OnPassive, please get back with the person who share OnPassive, who share this video with you, and ask them more questions. And if you want to be part of OnPassive, do get back to the person who shared that with you as well. If you're watching us from YouTube, thank you so much for watching our conversation today. We do hope that we do bring you some values. Please subscribe to the channel that you are watching. Click the bell so that when we do put one of these programs out, you'll be able to be first. I know there are still hand raised today. We have to end our program at the right time that it's scheduled. We appreciate you very much for being with us. Like I mentioned, this next topic on Wednesday, we are going to cover how OnPassive products can help with the real estate industry. All right, so please do share. The link will be out. The flyers will be out. I love the fact that a lot of us here using the Julie and Milo show background. If you need that for next week, from now on, please let us know and we could send those to you. It is now at the top of hours. Thank you so much for all of our friends, viewers are joining us today. We appreciate you. We appreciate the values that you give, and we appreciate your coming and join us and support us all the time. Good night from Orange County, California.
Good night from Nashville.
Lynn, if you could please unmute everyone. I know you have the trick to do that.
I did. Everybody's unmuted now.
Good night from Philadelphia.
Hey, everybody. Have a nice
Nice
day.
From Maryland.
Right. South Africa, Japan.
Everybody, thank you
Bye.
so much.
Good night,
Good night from Maryland.
Milo.
Hello, Julie.
Hey, Julie, how are you?
Harold.
Hey, Milo.
Bye.
Hi,
Julie and Milo.
Good night, guys.
Bye.
Good night, John.
Hi, Father Blaze.
Right now. Good night,
Bye
John.
bye, everybody.
Good night, sweetheart.
Preach it, John. Preach it.
Oh, yeah.